For number 1, you think of the third root of 3 as a unit, and you just add the first number before. So 1 plus 5 would be the 6, and then you'd add the third root of 3. For this problem, we want to make this root similar to this one so that we can add the first numbers easily. So this one can break down into fifth root of 32 and the fifth root of 11, which is identical over here. This breaks down to just 2. So we do 11 times 2, and then we put the fifth root of 11. Then we add the 7 fifth root of 11 onto that. So we have 22 plus 7, which is 29, and then we add the fifth root of 11, and that's the answer.
For number 3, we're going to take the fourth root out of every individual item. So the fourth root of 81 would be 3. And the fourth root of w to the 16th would be w to the 4th, because 4 times 4 equals 16. And then the fourth root of m to the 8th would be m to the 2nd, because 4 times 2 equals 8. So your answer is 3, w to the 4th, m to the 2nd. We're going to do the same thing in number 4, except this time we're taking the square root. So the square root of 121 is just 11. And the square root of m to the 5th would be m to the 2nd with a remainder of m, which we will put under a radical over here. And then the square root of n to the 10th would be n to the 5th, because 5 times 2 equals 10. And then the square root of p to the 3rd would just be p with a remainder p on the inside of the.
For number 5, you have to look at the fraction outside of the parentheses, this exponent here, 1/6, and we're going to have to distribute inside to this exponent inside. So you would keep the 10, and then you would put the 4 on top and keep the 6 on the bottom. And then, of course, this fraction simplifies down to 2/3. For number 6, 14 over 14 to the 1/8 power, you have to subtract the exponents. So we put an imaginary number here, which is just 1, and then you think of 1 minus 1/8 as the exponents. You keep the 14, and then you do this problem right here, and it would just be 7/8, and that's your final answer, 14 to the 7/8 power.
For number 7, since both radicals are to the 3rd root, you can just multiply what's underneath the root. So 2 times 108 would be 216, and you would do the 3rd root of that, and the 3rd root of 216 is 6, and that's your answer. And again, in number 8, since both roots are to the 4th, you can just divide what's under them. So you would get 486 divided by 6 would be the 4th root of 81. And the 4th root of 81 would be 3.
In number 9, we have a square root in the bottom, which we cannot have. There is no 5th root of 81, so we can't really simplify that without having to multiply. So we'll have to take out 3's here, and then 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. So we'll just have to multiply by the 5th root of 3 on both sides, top and the bottom. And we'll get 2 times 3 would just be 6. We add the 5th root. And then 81 times 3 is 243. So we get the 5th root of 243. And if we look down here at our 5th roots chart, we can see that right here, the 5th root of 243 would just simplify down to 3. And then we keep the top how it is as 5th root of 6. And this is your final answer.
For number 10, you're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by the opposite of the denominator. When you simplify this, you will get 15 minus the 5 to the root of 5 divided by 9 minus the square root of 25. This equals 15 minus the minus 5, the square root of 5, divided by 9 minus 5. This all simplifies to 15 minus 5 square root 5 over 4. And that's your answer.